Hey everyone, Paul ISM. Welcome to part 1 of our Alpha Models 124th Aston Martin Vantage video build. So yeah, the start of this absolutely beautiful kit. I did a review of this a while back over on the channel. You can find it on Patreon or on ISM. And it looks a great kit. Inspired by Matt Armstrong's build. This is a great looking little Aston Martin, and yeah, I've got a great colour for this one as well, and some good ideas for the interior too. So we're going to crack on with the build. We're going to get it all cleaned up, primed, painted, get some carbon decals down. We're going to get it 2K'd, and we're going to do a little bit of work on the interior as well. So let's jump in with the build and get started. Okay, as usual, I've got my parts out of the box and decanted into my plastic storage box for safekeeping. We've got the body shell, the wing mirrors, we've got some front and rear trim pieces as well. They're all going to require carboning, the side skirts need carboning, and we also have plenty of PE to go on the exterior as well. Clean up, very, very minimal on the kit, hardly any flash anywhere. Probably the most prominent thing I've done is gently rescribe the panel line. So not going mad, using my Holley 0.2mm scriber just to deepen them, make them a bit more pronounced, but nothing too crazy. Very, very clean body from Alpha, as they normally always are, and requires very, very little cleanup. Probably the most important step on this is to scuff the surface up with our 3000 grit Tamiya sponge, which I'll do in a minute, and then degrease it with the Pro Scale pre-paint degreaser. There we go, lovely body, nice panel lines. We just deepen them a touch. Not going crazy on there, but yes, really nice body shell on this, very nice and clean. Like I say, very minimal cleanup. Once we're happy with everything, we've got our 3000 grit Tamiya sponge, and we're going to go over all the surface and sand it all back. That way we get some micro abrasions in the surface to help our primer stick and remove any nasties that may still be on there. There's none. The surface is as smooth as silk, but I do still like to rough them up. I do it with all my car bodies, plastic or resin, and I just find it helps promote adhesion of the paint. Whether that's true or not is a matter of opinion. But I always do it as a matter of course. Once we're done there, we've got our toothbrush in all the nooks and crannies, all the panel lines, everywhere. Get rid of any panel dust or any nasties that may have collected in the gaps and what have you, and recesses from the sanding. Quick blow as well. And then we're going to mount it as well. So I've got my little stand made from tongue depressors stuck together. 3M pads are fantastic. You can get these on Amazon. They'll link in my description down below. I'm just going to way up where we're going to put it, so it's going to stick there and there, like so. There we go. Stick that in place like so, and then one big one on the top of a burnish bottle. Is it a burnish? It is a burnish bottle full of water as a counterweight. So sticks on there really well, as you can see. Very hard to knock over. And then some Pro Scale pre-paint degreaser on a clean piece of kitchen paper, and we'll wipe over the entire body. So we'll wipe over a combination of the tissue and the toothbrush. That way we can get all the nooks and crannies as well. So just go around all the body. That way any fingerprints, any sandwich prints, crisp dust, chocolate marks, you know, the kind of stuff we all do while we're modelling. Doesn't impede our priming process, but the toothbrush works good, gets all the nooks and crannies, and then we can dry it all off with our kitchen paper. Pre-paint degreaser, flatten it back the surface, giving it all the sand, get the toothbrush in, get rid of any muck. Perfect preparation for primer. Don't leave this part out. It's very important in my opinion, especially the degreasing stage on resin, because it does hold nasties on there, and I have had paint pull off before where I haven't quite cleaned it up properly. And then once you're done, get a nice clean piece of tissue, preferably kitchen paper. Tissue is a little bit bitty. And incidentally, I use Shades Power, I think it is, from Asda. By far the best kitchen paper I've used. So with that all nicely dry and cleaned, we're in our spray booth. And we've got our anti-static brush from Tamiya. We give it all the dust over. Got some Pro Scale grey primer here. There we go. Fantastic primer, nice microfiller primer. We've got our Iwata CR3. We're at about 18 psi. And we're going to put several light coats down. Now, someone did leave a comment on the main ISM channel today about if this mustn't be a very good primer, we have to do 3 or 4 coats. Well, Yes, unfortunately, a few YouTubers out there have given misinformation about priming. And if you're watching, you'll know who I mean. They literally hose the primer on out the aerosol in one coat, and that's not the way it's done. It's not the way it's done. It should be built up slowly. We're not painting patio furniture or, you know, the barbecue out the back or whatever. We're painting models that should be painted with care. So there's no need to hose it on. It has no benefit at all. We're not trying to do it with this. And we've got a precision airbrush as well, so we don't need to hose it on. We've got a nice microfiller primer. All we need to do is build it up nice and slow over time. I could hose this on in one coat, quite easy, whack the pressure up, pull the airbrush fully back and hose this on. But what's going to happen is you're going to get thick primer, you're going to get runs, it's going to look awful. Whereas you build up nice and slow, building up to your last coats, let it dry and flat it back, you're going to get a much better finish. At the end of the day, we're trying our hardest here to get the best finish possible on the model. So why rush these very important stages? So a little bit of a silly comment. I think it's been kind of made more apparent by some YouTubers out there who hose on the primer. But for me, there you go. There's 3 light coats. Perfect primer job. Absolutely beautiful. No runs, no problems, no mistakes. And we're also priming the mirrors while we're here as well. The mirrors are actually black on this. I think they're actually carboned, if I'm honest. After it's dry for several hours, at least 5-6 hours, I'll leave it. To be honest, you can sand it after half an hour. It has fully flashed off. I tend to leave it a little bit longer. But we've got our 3000 grit Tamiya sponge again, and we're just going to go around. We're not trying to sand it back. We're just flattening the very top surface of it. Get rid of any high spots, any dust that may have landed in there. And trust me, once you've done this with our primer, it is as smooth as a baby's bum. It is as smooth as silk. So again, preparation is key. This is what makes the difference in a good paint job. So take your time here. There's no rush. Give it a good sand around. Once you're happy, get a clean piece of paper and give it a wipe over. Give it a go over with a toothbrush again. I wouldn't go over any solvents now. It'll just cause issues with the primer. Before you commit to paint, give it a dust over with the airbrush just to blow off any nasties that may have collected. Now we've got Aston Martin Cumberland Grey from ProScale. This was a recommendation from Simon Shorey, my business partner with ProScale. And what a great colour this is. I kept calling it Cumberland sausage, mucking about, but it's a very nice deep metallic grey. And absolutely stunning colour. Sprays flawlessly. We're through our CR3. I water again. And yeah, just beautiful. Several coats of this builds us up to a beautiful metallic grey colour. And of course, same with the paints as with the primer. We're not hosing it on. There's no benefit in hosing it on. Nice light thin coats will get much better coverage than a couple of really heavy coats and will ultimately look better at the end. So like I say, we've got a 0.3mm needle, 18 psi, and we're going to put probably about 7 coats on in total. Very, very thin. Concentrating more on getting all those nooks and crannies done, the wheel arches, inside the bumpers, inside the windows, everywhere, rather than getting the whole body done. We'll alternate in left and right passes up and down as well to make sure we get full coverage. And yeah, wonderful paints that go down, absolutely brilliant. Very happy with this ProScale paints. I think we're about 10 cars in now to using them, and they just get better and better as they go. Absolutely brilliant. Mixed by my own fair hand. Just wonderful. So if you have any recommendations or anything you'd like to see or any requests, just give us a shout and we'll see what we can do for you. Like I say, several coats of this. Just build it up nice and slow. And as you can see, after several coats, I think that's probably after about 4 or 5 coats, I'm going to guess. This covered really, really well. As you can see, that colour is becoming really vibrant now as well. Absolutely stunning. And like I say, we've alternated between left and right and up and down passes. Doing the old crisscross method. Make you want to jump. But there we go. Coverage going down well. The iWater airbrush doing its job brilliantly. Very efficient on paint. And yeah, covering really nice. What a beautiful colour. It really is absolutely stunning. And it just looks even better once it's been 2K'd. Looks absolutely stunning once it's 2K'd. And coverage, absolutely fantastic. With this airbrush combo and our paint, you use very minimal paint. The airbrush is very efficient on paint. And our paint's not being over thin like some other manufacturers out there. They cover really well. And you can see just how beautiful it is. No large pigments in our colours as well. Any large pigments are substituted for smaller ones. So much more to scale. And don't look odd. And yeah, wonderful colour. Great suggestion by Simon. Glad to listen to him. I think it perfectly suits this car. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So there we go. I reckon that's about the 5th coat. So we'll let that flash off between coats, about 5-10 minutes, and then in with our final coat. So you can see there the full depth of colour now looking really good. Like I say, yeah, you could hose this paint on a lot quicker. There's no benefit at all. Zero. None. It's just detrimental. So don't hose it on. There's no need. No matter what people say, oh, it should be this, that, rubbish. It's nice like thin coats for the win. Just build it up nice and slow. As you can see, I've got a near flawless paint finish there. No dust in it, nothing at all. And because you're applying nice thin coats, if you do get any dust or a hair land in it, let that coat dry, and 95% of the time, once it's dry, if you rub your finger over it lightly, it will take that high spot off or that dust off. So that's the benefit of using thin, not wet coats. It does help with the finish. There we go, with that done. We've dried now overnight. It's the following morning, I think. We've got some carbon decal to do on the sides. Now we have the front and rear bumpers to do. We've got the mirrors to do, but right now we're not going to concentrate on those separate later on. We just need to get this bit of trim on the side and installed, and we can 2K the car then. So my main goal to begin with is always get that 2K car 2K'd as quick as possible. I don't mean rush it, but it's my primary goal because it's the part that takes the longest. It takes 5 days to cure. So while that's doing that, I can work on other parts. And obviously for me, making content, time kind of is money. Not that I ever rush my builds as little as I can. Anyway, I certainly do. But yeah, this is my first goal, is to get all this done. So we cut off some Tamiya carbon film. We've got it in place, roughly got it down with the brush where we want it. We have a brand new blade in our scalpel. We're going to follow the panel line and just lightly score through the carbon film. Nice and gentle. There we go. We grab our tweezers and remove that little bit of excess. It should be cut absolutely perfectly. There we go. And then we grab our water pen with some UMP decal solution on it and just burnish it all down where we want it. And there we go. Keep working out with your decal solution until all the creases have gone. A little bit of heat always helps. So I set this with the strong, and then very finally at the end gave it a quick whiz over with the extra strong. Doesn't need a lot. Extra strong will set decals instantly. A little bit too quick sometimes, but there we go. With that dried now, we can give it a Tamiya black panel line wash as well. Obviously it's Tamiya's enamel based panel line wash. So all around all the panel lines. Just touch it, the capillary action will carry through. Another important step this, and a lot of people miss this out as well. I notice on people's builds. I know some people don't like it, but if you look at a real car, you can see the panel lines. They are quite prominent. And that's the way I look at it on a car. Now, some colours don't require black. This one does because it's a dark grey. But if you do reds, yellows, just do a dark grey. Do a dark grey wash. Mix it with the grey and make it a primarily dark grey wash. And it'll look a lot better and a lot less stark or in your face as black. But I think it is an important step, this, and a lot of people don't do it. I can understand why. Maybe it's in trepidation, or they're just worried about it not looking right, but I think it adds to the car. I really do think it adds a little bit of depth and realism to it. It's very simple to do. Let it dry for half an hour. I tend to moisten the cotton bud with some of the Winsor & Newton Santador odorless mineral spirits. Just give it a quick wipe over to remove the excess, and then get a clean piece of tissue and wipe off the excess wash and mineral spirit. And that tends to do the job well. So you just do a section at a time. No harm to the paint because it's a lack of paint and an enamel wash, so they're quite inert over each other. Obviously, if you rub really hard on the corners, that will take it off, but that's friction and not chemical. As I always say, once you get all the wash off, put the model down for 5 minutes, come back and have a look with fresh eyes, and I'll almost guarantee you'll find somewhere you've missed. Leave that overnight to fully dry, and next day we've got our ProScale 2K system here. So you're all well versed with how this works. It's a 2-to-1 mix of clear to activator, and then 5% mix of thinner to the combined activator and clear mix. So for example, if you mix 6 ml of clear with 3 ml of the hardener, you need 0.5 ml of 9 ml, which would be 0.45 ml. It's very easy to work out. It sounds really complicated. It actually isn't. So 2-to-1 mix of clear to hardener. So 2 parts clear, 1 part hardener, and then 0.5% of that combined mix in thinner. Use fresh pipettes for each one. So this pipette with the hardener, once I put it in, so I need a couple of suck-ups to get the appropriate amount of hardener in there. There we go. Make sure the pipette is fully empty. And then we mix all that up with the pipette to get the chemical reaction going. I know you guys probably get bored of this, but you never know. Someone becomes a patron, gets to watch this for the first time, so I'll always explain it for you. Once that's mixed, throw the pipette away, get a fresh pipette, and we're going to add 0.45 ml of thinner. Pop the lid on everything, get them out of the way, and then give that another good mix up. And there we go. Perfectly mixed 2K clear. And again, throw the pipette away. Don't use it again. I lob them into the corner. You'll see that any second now. You ready? 3, 2, 1. 1. 1. 1. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Told you. I put the black thing on the bench as well so we can see the markings on the medicine cup. That works really well. And we've got a 190 micron strainer, which we have these for sale on ProScale now as well. Always strain your clear. You never know what's in there. Not from us, but from crusty rims. Yes, nobody likes a crusty rim. And you never know what's going to fall into your clear. So always give them a strain. And the activator does dry around the lid of the paint. So you never know what's going to land in there. So I'd always recommend giving 2K clear a strain. So I've got the Iwata CR Revolution. This is my 0.5 ml. And we're going to put a semi-wet coat down to begin with. Concentrating on getting all the nooks and crannies, wheel arches around the windows and the vents. Exactly like we're doing with the primary earlier on. And getting it nicely covered. So we're not going for a full wet coat. We're just going for a semi-wet coat. I'm going to put some music on while we do the rest of this. And I'll be back in a second. With the semi-wet coat done, we'll let that flash off for 5 minutes, come back and apply our second coat. So this is going to be much more purposeful wet coat, a little bit slower, a little bit more pressure, a little bit more paint, keeping the wet coats overlapping as we go. And we're at about 24 psi on this, and we're going to try and get our wet coat all over. once you're happy with that wet coat, pop it in your box for a while. You see my little plastic box to the left. Pop it in there, let it sit for 60 seconds. Then get it back out and have a look. Use your eyes to, obviously use your eyes, not going to use your ears to look at you. Use the light to angle it so you can see. And if you're not happy, give it another coat. Now, each car is going to spray differently. Some you'll get in 2 coats. Some will take 3. Some will take 4. Now, obviously, it's going to vary on your spraying style and just variables of painting. So on this one, I had a look and I thought, yeah, it just needs another light coat over. Not a full soaking wet coat like we did on that second one, but it does need another coat over. It's just the nature of it sometimes. So we let it set level for 60 seconds, took it back out, and I'm just going to give it another light coat all over. So we're not going as heavy on the trigger, not putting as much paint down, but we are getting a full wet coat down everywhere. And once we're done here, we'll pop it back in that box for another 60 seconds or so and let it self-level before pulling it out and having one last look. So take your time here. Obviously, how this dries is how you leave it now. So if you leave it with orange peel, that's how it's going to dry. So we want this to look like glass now. It's a fine line between perfect glass and a run, so take your time. Although our Pro Scale 2K is unbelievably forgiving on this. So once you've let it sit for another 60 seconds, take it out, you angle it to the light, have a good look and look for any areas of imperfections, anywhere where it's not quite glass-like, and anywhere you think it might need a little bit more. If it needs a little bit more, just give it a little bit more. A lot of people do ask me, do I keep the 2K in the brush this whole time? Yes, I do. It has a working time of about 40 minutes. This takes about 20 minutes in total. So we're well within the working window of it. If it was going to take any longer, I'd mix a fresh batch that we used to do on the Gravity. And there you go, just spot a little piece on the back a little bit more. But with this, it's more than in the working time and doesn't require any extra. As you see, we've got a beautiful gloss coat, a little bit of dust on the bonnet as per usual. But we'll pop that back in the case, just let it self-level for the 60 seconds while we have another quick look. As you can see, beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Perfect paint job. And that colour is looking absolutely magnificent as well. Really happy with the colour. This is a very pretty looking car. It's got an absolutely beautiful side profile. That little ducktail spoiler on it. And yeah, absolutely brilliant 2K job. Very happy with that. So that's going to be left to cure now for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, whatever. Craig David would be proud. And in the meantime, we're going to clean up all the other parts. So we've got some UMP sanders. I'm just going to go around and clean up all the resin. I do all this as one job lot now, and then prime and paint everything as a block. That way it works a lot easier. These resin kits have got a lot lower part count than a lot of the plastic kits, so they are quicker to work on in my opinion. Resin is very easy to sand, so be very careful you don't over sand things because it's very easy to sand away more than you think. It is a very, very soft material compared to plastic. You wouldn't think that, but it actually is. So really take your time. And also, if you have any sensitivity whatsoever, make sure you wear gloves. So with everything cleaned up, we're in the spray booth. We've got some Pro Scale grey primer and a bit of dust on the back. There we go. I'm just going to put a few coats of this on here. We have degreased all this resin as well with the Pro Scale pre-paint degreaser. But there we go, looking good. So a couple of light coats of this, doesn't need 3 or 4, it's not a body shell. By the time you come back around for one coat, it'll be dry. But we're going to go through and prime everything in the kit, depending on the colour it needs. Now, I did want to do a red interior on this, and we were looking through the configurator on Aston Martin, and it showed a red oxide leather. And I found the colour code for that red oxide leather and made it for Pro Scale. And that's why I originally painted this in. And it never quite gelled with me from the beginning. So I did repaint it later on. I do cover it in the video, I will show it. But for now, you're going to see it painted in the red oxide. And it looked okay. I just think it didn't look quite as good as I would have liked. So we're priming all the interior in grey, because obviously we've got the oxide colour going on. Brakes getting done in red, so they're getting primed in pink, because we want a nice, bright, vibrant red on these. Nice calipers, really, really pretty. So we've got Pro Scale pink primer here. And it's a couple of light coats of this would be more than sufficient. And then underneath on the floor pan, we've got some Pro Scale black primer as well. Using our water HPC Plus on this at about 18 psi. Give everything a couple of coats. Not too tricky to paint. Quite a big part, this one. So just take your time, work your way around, and obviously work all those angles. We have got the diffuser on the back. That's going to be carbon fibered. But for now, we're just going to get everything painted black until we're happy with it. So get a coat on, let it dry, get all the angles, all the edges, all the recesses, and then come back in for your second coat. And here we go. This is after, it's probably about a third coat, I'd say, on this. It's hard to say sometimes. I kind of not really concentrating on how many coats I'm putting on. I'm just sitting there painting until it's covered. But there we go. More than sufficient coverage on that. Now, on the front and rear bumpers, these are being primed in ProScale Black Primer 2. They are going to be carboned, so that is something we need to sort. But yeah, we're going to get a coat of paint down before we primer those. I've also just noticed on my computer, it's Aaron Timpson's birthday today. Happy birthday, Aaron. There you go. The first personalised birthday message in a video. I'm actually filming this on Tuesday, the 4th of July. So happy birthday, mate, and happy Independence Day to our colonial friends out there as well. When you'll eventually see this, I don't know, but it will be up soon. Because, like I say, I have a ton of videos to do lately. But yeah, happy birthday, Aaron. Hope you're having a good day, mate. And I'll drop you a happy birthday on Facebook now as well. There you go. Personalised birthday messages in the videos. Not many people do that, do they? But you see, customer care here. Brake discs, all the other components all primed in UMP black as well. Obviously, we've got P for the discs as well. And this is the red oxide colour I mixed. Now, it looks nice, but when I was looking at it, I just thought, it just lacks that kind of pizzazz. That's the word we're going to use today, pizzazz. So in the end, I grabbed ProScale's Bordeaux Red, which that and the Napa Black are two of my favourite colours. And I hit it up with the Bordeaux Red. A little bit of a deeper, richer red, and I think it looked better in the end. But this red oxide colour is a nice colour. I just don't think it suited the Cumberland Grey. I think it kind of clashed with it. But we've got a good range of leather colours now. Let me see. We've got 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 13. I think we've got about 14 leather colours now in the range of ProScale. Some absolutely beautiful colours out there. So have a look online and get them for your interior because they spray beautiful. Very finely pigmented paint and very realistic leather colours as well. So like I said, I'm going to show the paint process because I only have a very small amount of process painting of the other colour later on. But let's just go around all these parts inside. It is going to be a sea of red inside this because it's what the real car's like. But we're going to do all the door cards, the seats, the centre console, the dashboard. Near enough everything in this is going to be red. And I even contemplated doing red carpet, but I went with black in the end. Obviously, we have the full range of flocks at UMP. Flocks at ProScale as well. And we just added 5 new colours to the range over time as well. That UMP thing so instilled in my brain from recommending UMP products. It's hard not to say it. It really is. So bear with me there, guys. I do apologise. So yeah, going down really well, this colour. Looks really good. And then on our brake calipers, we've got Brembo Red as well. So another ProScale colour. Several light coats of this, just build it up nice and slow, and we'll give these a gloss coat later on as well. So after about 3 coats, there we go. Really nice colour, absolutely fantastic. And then on some of the highlighted trim inside, there's not a lot of it. We're going to do it in Napa Black, but I think about 90% in the interior is going to be red. So literally that little console and these little vents here. These are all part of the dashboard, I believe. The brake discs, because these have got PE going on them, we're going to paint them in bright aluminium, first of all. So we get the centre hubs in that colour. So another wonderful ProScale metallic colour. Looks absolutely great. So a couple of coats of this. Very, very finely pigmented paint. There we go. Absolutely fantastic colour. Really, really nice metallic colour. One of my favourites. And it's something I do intend to develop going forward as well. Is more metallic colours. We'll also do the light lenses as well. And our wheels are going the exact same colour as well. I don't think I'm doing black or gunmetal, but I've done that many black and gunmetal wheels lately. I just want to do straight silver. So I thought, while the bright aluminium's in the airbrush, we'll paint the wheel. So angling it and spin it on the cocktail stick to get all the angles, and also do it underneath as well. Always worthwhile doing. We get a nice finish on the wheel. We'll also gloss these later on as well. But as you can see, beautiful colour. And this is the set. There's two options of wheels in the car, and this is the set I chose. I thought they looked a lot better. Obviously, if you're building the kit, it's a personal preference. But for me, this colour looked great. Really nice on these wheels. So there we go. We'll do the two as well. And on the very bottom as well, we got some semi-gloss black. Now, Secret Squirrel stuff. This is a paint I was testing for us. This is a semi-gloss black. It needs a bit more testing, but it did spray really well. I just need to test it a lot more before we can release it. So, Secret Squirrel there. Mum's the word, all right? But maybe you'll get a semi-gloss black from ProScale in the near future. But yeah, good colour. It just needs a bit more testing to work it out. And there we go. So there's the Bordeaux red. So that's the red oxide. And all we're going to do is a couple of coats of this. It'll cover really quickly. And it just makes that leather a bit richer. Makes it pop a little bit more and a little bit darker. You guys probably won't notice much difference on camera. But to my eye, there's a huge difference in the colour. You can see it's just a bit of a darker, richer colour. And this is just what I was looking for, to go with that Cumberland Grey. I think it's a much better option overall. Like I say, this and the Napa Black, my two favourite colours. By the look of it, my interior has also been flocked as well by my wonderful assistant Hannah. Straight black on this one we're going for. But if you've not tried our leather colours, give them a whirl. No, very, very good. Beautiful range of colours, from browns, reds, blacks, greys. We need to add some blues in there as well. But yeah, really nice range of leather colours. And they spray absolutely beautiful. And there we go. After this is done, this is where we're going to end part 1. We'll be back for part 2 very, very soon. Oh, we're not flocked yet. We will be in part 2 then. So get flocked until part 2. So see you in a bit, guys. Bye-bye. There we go, all done. Really happy with that colour. The Cumberland Grey looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely stunning colour. The 2K ProScale worked out absolutely beautiful as always. Really can't fault our paints. I know it's easy for me to say, but I really, really can't. I can't fault them at all. Absolutely brilliant. And that Cumberland Grey looks absolutely amazing under the 2K. So very happy with that. The red contrast interior is going to look good. So yeah, happy how this one's progressing. There we go. That's where we're at. If you're watching this, give us a thumbs up. Obviously, it's only you patrons that get to see this. And if you have watched it, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And part 2, 3, and the condensed video will be up very soon. They are all edited and ready to go up. So there we go. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for your continued support. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.